Welcome to the Labyrinth podcast, where I had Ben read one comic book, and then we're gonna talk about it, and then maybe read another comic books based on that conversation later. Who knows where we'll end up?
I'm sorry, you said based on the conversation, and I was just thinking about how Rogue got her tits to do that in that one panel.
Oh, yes. Well, we were reading a 90s comic. Some classic 90s art.
Dude, the art was great.
Yeah,
I was worried this was... I didn't look, I forget if you mentioned, like, the year or anything about this, but, like, as usual, shit goes in one ear and then out the other. I had no idea. I'm like, this could be, like, a thing from the 60s that Hank stumbled upon. It could be a thing from the 90s. I have no clue. So I was happy that it was dope. Like, it was cool as hell. The art was great. I mean, there's so much. There's so much that's like, man, I could follow up.
So this is kind of my origin story as a comics reader. Like I had a couple issues of Spider-Man before this. I was super into the cartoons, and I was like collected Marvel. I had Marvel trading cards. Although, hilariously, when I got into trading cards, I mostly didn't buy packs. Just my grandma just bought me a couple complete sets of cards. And like I had like a few packs on top of that, but not a lot. It was mostly just like I remember being in a store and like talking to like the guy talking is like, it makes more sense. It'll save you money. It's cheaper long term. Just buy a complete set and then not worry about it.
I mean, not wrong. Like that,
Take all the gambling out of it. Yeah. So then, like, I don't know. There was one time me and my friends were at went to a comic book shop, and we were all running around, and the owner was like, "Hey, kids," and like lined us up and explained to us about like following comics week to week and like taking care of them and putting them in sleeves, and we were all like wide-eyed, like, and that shit like really got to me. So I was primed, but I don't know. What do I go in on? Because I could, to me, I wasn't going to go in on... The thing I was going to go in on was Venom. That was always going to be the thing. Mm-hmm. But beyond that, I wasn't going to go on Spider-Man because my friend was buying all the Spider-Mans. So that's just, like, cost-benefit analysis. Like, I'm going to get to read those comic books probably anyway.
Yeah.
And then I was weirdly in the other comic book shop that was in town, in Hoboken, New Jersey, where I lived at the time. And this just was on the shelf. Like, this just had come out. This was the new comic book, and it had all the guys on it in the cover. Like, the cover looked cool. It was like a wraparound. And it looked dope. So I bought it, and I read it. And then at the end of this comic, it was like, adventures continue in Fantastic Four #1, Captain America #1, Iron Man #1, Avengers #1. And I started buying all those books, and I followed along. That's how I became a following of comic books as they were happening. Which is, for someone getting to comics in the 90s, getting into the Avengers and Captain America and Fantastic Four, not the norm. The X-Men, way more popular.
Yeah.
Way more the normal thing. Like, the reason these books are all resetting to #1 is because they weren't people weren't buying them.
Yeah, you also had mentioned, I did know going before, and you said like it was a big event. Like, it's a huge event thing, and you had no idea. And I'm like, gosh, shit, here we go. It's gonna be Death Metal 2 Electric Boogaloo. But this was like, man, shit was understandable. Like, I had a great time. I knew what was happening. Sure. They gave me enough context to like bring me there. And for an event, it was pretty self-contained. It's just all like it gave me everything I needed.
It's the big fight at the end. Everyone's in the one place.
It's the big fight. I mean, like, as a not kid, like everybody sacrificing themselves kind of got to me. that hit. I mean,
dude,
like,
that fucking begin like, and yet through the haze, the dust.
yeah,
Savior sensed a coming of hope, of courage, of marvels, and you get the giant splash page.
Oh,
that
dude,
shit's just fucking great.
That splash page is so good. I mean, so part of this, because I'm like, all right, what's like striking my interest here? What thing is reaching out to me? I'm like, this shit is dope, and I need more. Man, it's just fucking Hulk again. We got we get Hulk, and that's good enough. But then we get the shit where I mean he has I forget who already. Who rips Banner out of him?
Nobody
it's Phoenix.
rips.
No.
Yeah,
I mean,
she unlocks.
She shuts down the control side. Phoenix.
Yeah,
that's what I meant. I forgot that.
Jean Grey.
literally later.
I think she just was going by her actual name, Jean Grey.
Okay. No, she says Phoenix. He says, "I can take him, Phoenix, but you have to help."
Does say Phoenix.
Dude, the panel where it's like Phoenix in the foreground and she's like a silhouette except for her hair, and it's just Hulk face in the background. That shit, that might be my favorite panel, like low key. That shit is fucking incredible. So we get that where he's like, Hulk is unchained and he punches the shit out of Onslaught. Like that's great. They follow it up later by Hulk getting beaten, and we get the madder Hulk makes him mad. The madder Hulk gets, the stronger Hulk gets, and Hulk is angry, and it's just like, then the fucking next panel is boom, and it's like a nuclear explosion. Oh
yeah,
god damn.
I was also a Hulk fan, and then reading this, I was very happy.
Like, shit is just fucking good.
He literally punches Banner out of himself.
Dude, it's so fucking good. Like, it's such a cool thing. I mean, there is a lot of little stuff. I mean, because there's a lot of little things that you could pick as well, right? Like, even for me, having done this in an age where like Marvel is pretty casually popular, like it'd be pretty fucking hard to exist right now and not at least know who like Captain America, Iron Man, Hulk, and company are. Plus the stuff we've done has given me a bit of an edge on, I would say, the average person. But like there's still little stuff, like there's that pixie looking girl, like the tiny Jan.
Wasp.
Yeah. I don't fucking know. She's pink.
That's the Wasp.
Why is the Wasp pink?
Because she's like a weird. She's like more waspy. She's not just like wearing a wasp armor, which she normally would be.
Oh, okay.
I don't remember why.
Yes.
Something that is like the state of the Wasp at that current moment.
Like I don't know much about her. I know the name the Wasp. Like I did see a little. This is pure coincidence that I know what it is because I read the little hobby drama thing about the origin of this group, but where again I don't know the lady's name. Where they're told that mutants can't go into the Onslaught cloud thing
with Crystal and the Inhumans.
Yeah, and Crystal is like, they didn't say anything about Inhumans. I'm like, oh shit, I know what an Inhuman is. So like that was cool. Like it just happened to get some stuff that hits. Thor was fucking cool. So in that great panel where it's like all the Marvel buds rolling in, right? I had no idea. I'm like, okay, what's catching my interest immediately? How cool this is, first off, naturally. Second off, who the hell is this shirtless dude? I didn't notice the hammer, admittedly. I'm like, who the fuck is the glorious shirtless dude with that chick hanging off of him? What's their story? But like, then it's just Thor. I'm like, okay, like it's Thor. I still don't know who that girl is, but
that's Storm. He's like picking her up.
Oh, okay.
Because everyone's like picking up the X-Men.
Okay. In that panel, it looks like they've been together for a while, like maybe 3 months minimum, deeply in the puppy love stage. Like I see other people getting picked up, right? Like all the other, yeah, you're right. All the other mutants are like clinging, but she's just like in a way that's like hanging on him. Like I don't fucking blame her, but so yeah, that was cool. And then later when he's the first one to be like, oh, you need a vessel. Like, dude, his little bit, 'tis a vessel to hold him we need, then use mine, my flesh and blood. This sinew of the thunder god shall surely contain such a wicked storm. And once it does, you must show me no mercy. Only by felling me can you fell Onslaught. And his hammer is like kind of beat up and right in the foreground.
Yeah.
Oh, that shit was cool. That's fucking good.
Yeah, man. Yeah, this is the writing here is pretty good. It's written by Mark Waid, who's one of my.
And then fucking dude, even like I'm not a big fan of The Thing.
I mean, you're just wrong. You haven't read enough good The Thing content.
I don't like his written accent.
Oh, okay.
It makes me read it in a weird way in my head. Kind of the same thing when Rogue starts off and I'm like, okay, you're right. This is Harley Quinn. Are you okay, Professor? I'm like,
Rogue is Southern, and The Thing is
okay. Well, I mean, don't write accents. Don't write accents. Inform me where they're from, and I'll do it myself. Or the dude, the kid, Franklin Richards. He's like, Unca. I'm like, you gotta stop.
Never stop.
Gotta stop with the Unca. But the thing on that same panel with Thor, is like, then one side, Stretcho, Mrs. Grimmo has taught her boy Benji to lend a hand when there's heavy lifting. You with me, Matchstick? They fucking pow right into it. Oh, God.
I mean, heroes have to jump into the void because that villain became a big universe blob.
Yeah. We did get the Avengers Assemble.
Yes.
Like, that was fine, but the part right before it is fucking so good. I realize that the world's at stake. Don't confuse me with details. Like, everybody, like, I don't really care about The Thing too much. I don't really care about Captain America too much, but, like, they're getting the lines.
Yeah, man. They're just being heroic.
It's good shit. Okay, but you can be heroic and have a shit writer.
What's true. What I mean, well, the more thing I mean about this is, like, it's like boiling down a lot of stuff to, like, iconic. Like, give me the iconic line and the iconic image, and then fucking move on. Like,
yeah, we're not. Yeah, that's true. We're not lingering
in a story that was full of bloat. Like, this single issue is streamlined in that way for all the stuff that happens in it. Considering it's like this giant fight happening all at once.
I just saw on a panel the other bit that that like it feels like cheating. Like I've seen the Hulk. I know I like the Hulk, and I see him here, and it's more of the shit I like. Same thing for Doctor Doom. Like his stuff was so good. Like, I wouldn't betray you. Yeah, this will allow me to turn the day to my advantage. Wait a fucking minute. And then gets dragged in.
Mm-hmm.
That's so good. All of it. Like the whole thing was just fucking cool as hell.
It's a banger. It's a banger of a comic.
Well, I mean,
again, this is like the baseline for what I want for like big superhero stuff. I just want it to be big, and all the heroes get to do their thing and be heroic, and fight the fucking evil that summons an extra sun or whatever.
Yeah, dude.
I love the extra sun bit.
Yeah, like, it's just like,
is that like another sun? It's yes, but also it doesn't make sense. If a sun were there, we would be definitely dead. This is fucked up.
Yeah, no, it's a hell of a thing. Well, dude, and then I mean, we get the ending in a couple of different ways. Like the idea of like, well, the humans just watch like the X-Men kind of attack the Marvel heroes, more or less, if you don't know what you're looking at.
Yeah. Well, like
also,
there was a big fight. The X-Men are still here, and all the heroes are dead.
Yeah,
all the heroes we're not racist against are gone.
Yeah, that and like, you know, shit's on fire. it's burning down. So
I mean Mm-hmm.
Well, so we get like that ending, but then also like fucking Apocalypse rolls up.
Yeah.
I think that was the only bit where I was like, I'm a little lost. Like I don't fully know what's happening here, but everything else.
Yeah. Because before this story, the big story, which is mostly comes like Onslaught, like comes out of the X-Men comics and then spills over into the rest of the Marvel universe. But the big X-Men story before this, they did a whole year called The Age of Apocalypse, where all the books were like taking place in the dark alternate future, where Apocalypse has taken over the world and Professor X is dead.
Yeah, I mean,
and it was just like that was Age of Apocalypse. It was a story that they literally had just done and was pretty popular.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I figured it was a previous thing because they mentioned like Apocalypse had destroyed whatever the hell.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then the Watcher's like, I don't think so. No.
Yeah. Shocking. Yeah, we do. Yeah,
you get all the shots of Franklin's little ball.
Yeah, you know, I feel like that ball is gonna be like relevant or something. If I had to
that's
guess.
That's where he put all the heroes.
I mean, yeah.
He created the pocket universe in that ball. That's where the Heroes Reborn universe takes place. All those number ones. It's like a new continuity, but it's canonically it's in that ball.
Do they eventually
get?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's basically like a year of that
okay. So they're cowards. That's fine. They're cowards. They should have kept them in there like permanently and just let it roll. But whatever.
Well, so
whatever.
The reason they did it was because the books weren't popular. They basically sold them off to Jim Lee and Rob Liefeld, who are more popular artists, to do the comics instead of them. Like they basically handed it off to Image Comics for like like to like outsource them to like to make them like make comics people actually wanted to buy or whatever. For a year. Like that deal lasted a year and then that came to an end.
Interesting.
Had all the publicity around it and stuff. And
so
that's where infamous, way too muscly Captain America comes from. Rob Liefeld.
So weirdly,
Captain America was like actually really fucking good before they did this because that's the book Mark Waid was writing.
Well, win some, lose some. I guess.
Well, it was fine because he took over the book back again once they came back.
Gotcha.
They put him back on the book.
So where did you go after your I don't know, Marvel comic baptism? After
I
finishing
just read
this?
those Heroes Reborn's books as they came out. Like I was reading that, and I was reading Venom. And that was like
Okay.
mostly that's what I was buying. And then even then when those books all came back to the present, I mostly just followed those books. I also started picking up Hulk. And then some other superhero, Marvel launched some other new books in the wake of like there being an opening in main continuity for other heroes.
Yeah.
Like that's when Deadpool started as his own book, really. But I was reading that. And there was this big thing, the Thunderbolts started, which was like a new team of superheroes appears, like to take the place of the Avengers, and like the end of the first issue is like, actually these are the masters of evil. These are all supervillains pretending to be heroes.
Yeah. I mean that's
and so then that
classic.
That story has its pays out in certain ways. Mostly with like half the villains are like, being a hero was good actually. It was better than being a villain.
Yeah. It's pretty good. When you had this idea, what were you thinking more? Like following from this story, or like going back, or just like checking out a character or something?
I mean, any of the above, honestly.
Okay.
Wherever your interest is the most pointed. Because the other place I went after reading this was backfilling the Onslaught story, like looking at the issues that led up to this and stuff. And that has, some of that stuff is good, some of that stuff is not good. It is very funny to me. The character of Onslaught is like pure 90s Marvel not knowing what the fuck they're doing. It's just like the introduction of the idea of Onslaught is the Juggernaut shows up like beat up and scared, and he's just like, it was Onslaught. And they wrote that comic. Scott Lobdell, who is the co-writer on this issue, but I like his work less than Mark Waid's. Like he wrote that, and he had no idea who Onslaught was when he wrote that.
Hell yeah, dude!
Just no idea. And they figured it out later.
Yeah.
But that's just like pure. Cause like that's also what Spider-Man had Judas Traveler in the Clone Saga, who's like this all-powerful being, and none of the writers knew what his deal was. And nobody cared about him, but like they'd set him up to be important, and then like it's like, what if that guy just didn't exist?
So, I mean I guess the places I'm going, I mean, part of me just wants to do like Hulk, but I'm also kind of in the mood for branching out a little, because like we'll do other Hulk stuff. I assume.
Yeah.
I guess past that, like, I don't know, man, like I'm just really either stuff with like some of the X-Men stuff, either like going back or like, I don't know, like the Thor as well, I think would also be like this era of Thor. I don't know, man, he's shirtless, his hair is flowing, like it's attracted my attention.
Yeah, like the problem is that's like only for this comic.
Well, that's fucking lame. I thought it was character development.
No, he had a really fucking weird outfit before this, and then after this, it kind of goes to more standard Thor outfit. Because that's the thing. Like in a lot of these comics, the takes on the like in the mainline Avengers book from before this, like the art is like really bad. Like I think that book in particular just doesn't look good, and the character designs aren't interesting, or I don't like them or whatever.
Yeah.
And so for some of that kind of stuff, like this issue just eschews that because Kubert just draws the characters in with iconic looks that look good instead of the outfits they'd been wearing in their actual books leading up to this.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, it worked.
Yeah, No, it's
cool.
part of what makes this comic good.
I think overall, like, I feel like it has to be something with X-Men. I don't know specifically which direction, because like I had been wondering about Storm before, but like also the stuff with Xavier and Magneto, pretty interesting. And like I know a smattering of those characters, both from what we've read and just like cultural knowledge absorption. So that shit was cool, and seeing like whatever the hell Magneto's name is when he's not Magneto being first
Joseph.
off also what Joseph right also like dude the flowing hair, so much hair, just fucking locks just in the wind. It's 10 out of 10. But that shit was interesting. Like it seemed he didn't have any memories of his past or anything. It seemed like.
Yeah.
So,
like, there was like a story. I don't think I've read the comic of like. I know so much about it, but like, Magneto goes like full evil, and at the end of like the story, Xavier basically like mentally puts him down.
Yeah.
Like shuts off his evil part of his brain is the story, and then like this Joseph like just shows up later in X-Men comics as like Magneto, but he doesn't have any memory. But
gotcha.
and then that's like the Onslaught then is like Xavier's own repressed anger and dark personality plus the stuff from Magneto that he like tore out of him.
Yeah.
Like no, that's what. So Onslaught is like this weird part, like combination of both their darknesses.
No, we get that back stuff, which is like that's what makes this like super palatable. Like all of the like looking at some of the early shots of the X-Men, right before they get their asses kicked. Like, it was just cool. And, like, I think, despite us reading a little bit about them, like, that's the stuff I know, like, the least about, I think. Obviously, compared to, like, how much is out there for each character, Marvel and, like, the heroes and X-Men alike, like, I don't know fuck all, but, like, I don't even know most of these names. Or know anything. Like Rogue I'm slightly familiar with. I have no idea what her deal is, but I know the design and her name.
Her deal is if she touches someone, she absorbs their powers and also like their memories.
That's fucking sick.
But like also like drains their life force. So if she touches someone for too long, they'd be in a coma.
Yeah,
and the reason she can fly and as super strength is because she held on to Miss Marvel for too long.
Hell yeah.
And stole all of her powers.
That sounds fucking cool. Or like the only reason I mean obviously I know Wolverine. The only reason I know Storm is because I watched the Pride of X-Men like intro like 60 times. I didn't watch the whole thing, but that intro is too good. So
coming your way.
It's such a fucking good intro. My disappointment was like, I was like, this is fucking sick, and I wanted to watch it, and then I asked you, and you're like, yeah, it never got made. There's just like the one thing or whatever.
Well, it did not get made. It's just a single episode. It's not a full TV show.
Yeah, okay.
It's a
it didn't get
VHS
made.
tape that I watched on over and over and over and over again. But
Well, yeah, but I was ready to go all in.
The X-Men arcade game beat 'em up.
I mean,
is based on it.
yeah, I was ready to watch like 60 episodes of this minimum. Like,
Yeah.
that intro was too sick, and then it was neat. So yeah, something with X-Men. Now knowing what like Rogue does, that shit's cool. Or just
Well, it's
going
hard
like
for me because again,
doing-
like 90s X-Men is my. Even as I've gotten into all kinds of comic books, that's like the most impenetrable to me.
I mean, we don't have to decide it right now, but that's that's where I'm going. I do have one question. Question about this because I'm looking at the nice spread again. I cannot for the life of me. Maybe it's just someone I don't know. Who is the woman standing like on the right? Like with her back or her arms like kind of down, fist clenched.
In yellow?
No, not the one Mr. Fantastic is carrying. Is she in yellow?
Up in the front in blue?
Yeah. Like blue in the.
Yeah, I was looking at the upper ridge. No, you mean like up in front? Who's standing right there?
Yeah,
right there?
like super like on her own. Yeah, like big.
I'm pretty sure that's Black Widow.
Oh, okay. That's not Scarlett Johansson. What? It's okay. I would not have. I forgot she existed. Honestly. Wait, is that Black Panther in the background as well?
Yeah.
What a fucking costume! Holy shit! Oh,
Black Panther's like in this comic, but doesn't talk.
Yeah, he doesn't. I don't even think they show him again. That I remember. Maybe he gets a little background thing.
Maybe that isn't. Maybe I'm wrong. Because Black Widow like it literally isn't in this comic. It might be Invisible Woman. Supposed to be.
You know what? I'm zooming way the fuck in. She has a 4 earring.
Yeah. I think it's just Invisible Woman and her hair is weird.
Okay. Well, she's very visible right now. Yeah. This was like this comic like it was fucking sick.
Yeah, man. I was in after this.
What a good comic. Like you could have grabbed something shit and then what would have happened, You would probably just be less in.
I looked at that cover and I was like, I mean, I've read plenty of shit comic books, but yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't then have like been reading Avengers, Iron Man, Fantastic Four for like the foreseeable future.
Yeah.
Until I quit comic books and then didn't get back into them until college.
And the double spread back cover thing is like fucking incredible.
Yeah.
That's just super, super cool. Yeah.
If you notice, the logo on the back is backwards, but it's X-Men Onslaught because they did an X-Men Onslaught story earlier in this arc or whatever.
Gotcha.
So that's like a callback. And I don't remember if the Marvel Universe is on the back on that one. But it's like this same kind of like drawing, but just it's Onslaught in an earlier version, like form, and all the X-Men fighting him. Let me see if I can
Gotcha.
find
Oh,
it.
that's cool. Yeah, the fucking art is just like my jam.
Yeah, that's where I'm inclined to read more Kubert, I guess. just because like so much of what's cool about this is the art. Let me hear. This is the cover for X-Men Onslaught, and yeah, it does have the Marvel Universe thing logo backwards in the back.
Hell yeah.
Well, it's not super high quality, but
Oh wow, yeah, that's small. I was ready to zoom in.
yeah.
I made it. Yeah, it's good shit.
Yeah, but that's like basically it. Because Onslaught when he started, he just had Magneto's helmet more clearly.
Yeah.
Until then, he's like, by the time he's evolved into this form, he's like got this weird skull head. Although, like, it is also one of those things where, like, when you actually read the comics, like his look gets pretty inconsistent through a bunch of the different books, but depending on what you're reading.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's the thing about particularly this era of comics. Like, if you're reading a big crossover, like, quality can vary extremely. Like, that's a big problem with, like, Spider-Man stuff is, like, stories would run through, like, the 4 Spider-Man comics where writer and art would change between, like, issues of a single story.
I mean, I think I noticed that reading even just some of the Spider-Gwen stuff. I think there was some cases of that.
There's cases of artists filling in, yeah.
Yeah. Cause
that's more common.
Well, the fucking problem, if you're not balls deep in comics, it just feels like you fucked up and got the wrong thing.
True. That you're not wrong.
Yeah.
Because, like, when the art is suddenly worse, like, the air is, like, sucked out of the room. Because, so, I mean, in argument of doing the Hulk stuff that follows up with this, the thing with that stuff is, like, it takes a while, but then I can't remember if is this Kubert or his brother, because there were 2 big Kubert artists at this time, and they had semi-similar styles. Their dad was a more famous, is another famous comic book artist, Joe Kubert. I think it was their dad. But one of them is working on the Hulk, and that's when the Hulk comics become, like, really good. Nice. And then, like, there are issues where he's not drawing it, and it's like, yeah, this is no longer interesting. Even though that is one where, like, even though the writer is, like, the same, it's like Peter David, who had been writing the Hulk for an absurdly large, like, the entirety of the 90s, just, like, writing the Hulk forever, and that's, like, the end of his run. But, like, just the issues that Kubert draws are just, like, way better. Just way better.
I mean, like, I'm down to do Hulk also. Worth saying.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, I need you to pick. The whole
You
gimmick of
pick-
this is you have to choose.
I need to pick now?
Yeah. Uh-huh. That's the whole premise.
On air?
Yep.
Oh, no.
And then next time
no.
you can pick any, like, again, you can always go back on your choice.
No, you have to go in one direction forever.
One direction.
That's
forever.
how labyrinths work.
Okay. That is not how labyrinths work.
like, let's just do Hulk. Why fight it? Why fucking fight the cool thing that I like?
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, that's what stood out to me.
Yeah. Yeah, no. Embrace it. The point is to
it just felt
follow
like
your
cheating
fucking...
because it's the same thing.
No, it's fine.
Yeah.
We'll do. Yeah, I'll pick some Hulk comics for next time.
Hell yeah. Oh, this is good shit. I'm excited to be starting this. This was, like, a super fun idea. Yeah. Part of me reading, what I was reading, I was like, man, I wonder what it would have been like if this is how like we started with me reading comics, like the first time. But meh.
Salt Circle Podcast, gmail.com, Salt Circle Pod on Twitter, at Comic Panels. Next time we're going to be reading some Peter David Hulk from after this.
Yeah. Damn it. I'm ready.